Hello. I have just spent the last 20 to 30 minutes trying to record an introduction to this channel without realizing that the microphone that was recording to my software was the microphone that's already in my laptop. But we've got things straight now, hopefully. Not to imply heteronormativity. Sorry, I say things to make myself laugh. If you can't make yourself laugh, then who will? What a silly question. What a silly question. So, this is an introduction, so I will introduce myself. My name is MJ. But for the purposes of this channel and this video, I go by Apollo. So, in this introduction of sorts, I intend to introduce the concepts which I wish to bring to the ASMR community. And also, before I do this, I would like to provide a bit of context as to why I'm bringing these concepts. Or am attempting to, at least. It was about a year ago that I started looking for like a book talk ASMR, and I failed to find any. I was just thinking, like, you know, have you ever been to like a book club and y'all are talking about books? I was trying to get that kind of vibe going, you know, and I was unable to find anybody. And so at the time, I considered, well, if I can't find this niche, then maybe I should create it. Because I cannot be the only seeker, can I? Can I? So, here I am, about a year later, and it is currently April 29th. 2 a.m. 2020. The coronavirus is upon us. It is a global pandemic, and I have to admit that I am a bit tipsy at this point, and so my inhibitions are quite gone, and I've decided, you know what, I have a microphone. I do not have a pop filter, but I do have a sweater that my roommate gave me that has been sitting on my floor that was next to me. And I said, bet. I am going to sit down with my books and I am going to introduce myself. And so, hello, my name is Apollo. I am 19, but you can't prove that I'm drinking underage because you don't know what state or what country I live in. However, you can infer, based off of the information that I've given, what is what. Oh gosh, I'm silly. I hope you don't mind a bit of silliness in the context of the content that I'm trying to deliver, which is a bit to the tune of philosophy and the literary arts. I also apologize if there's not going to be any like visuals, at least not now. Like, you're probably going to be staring at like a blank screen or like a picture of something. Probably a picture of something. I might do like slideshows or like some sort of like graphic art for like any future videos that have a theme, but since this is just an introduction, please forgive me. I'm sure you're quite understanding. I'm not very super tech savvy despite being a youngster. So I thought the best way to introduce myself and this channel would be to go ahead and just do some of what I plan to do, and that is read some selections, talk about some stuff, and so I'm gonna read a selection from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and I'm gonna talk about it. So let's see here. This is kind of deep and like heavy, just go off the bat, but I've opened to this page. Let me talk about Marcus Aurelius first, because this dude, let me tell you, I am a fan. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor. He's known as the last of the 5 good Roman emperors, meaning they actually like got stuff done. And what Marcus Aurelius did besides write the Meditations, I couldn't really tell you like what he did for the Roman state. I couldn't tell you. I do know he was an eminent Stoic philosopher, and by that I mean he was considered to be in the Stoic school of thought, the school of Stoicism, meaning he learned from various Stoic teachers like Epictetus, for example. And the Stoics, fantastic. I'm not going to get into all of it because I don't know all of it, but I'm a fan personally. I discovered them last year in my school's library because there was a really cool book. It was Epictetus's Discourses, and it just had a really cool cover. And I was like, yo, what's this, man? And so I was just reading it. I was chilling in the philosophy section of the library, as one does, and I found it and I started reading it, and it had really cool visuals. And what this dude was saying was like pretty lit. I like to use crude terms. So yeah, I just kind of fell down that rabbit hole and discovered Marcus Aurelius. He's, not a lot of Stoic writings are left over, but we've got Aurelius's. We got M.A., and he wrote the Meditations, which is kind of in the later period of the Stoics. So we can infer. I don't know, but this is kind of the tune of what the Stoics were on. They were a very practical philosophy, which I think is what drew me to them. I'm not really much into like wandering in thought without really getting anywhere. I like to get places when I think. So number 11 of book 5. What am I doing with my soul? Interrogate yourself to find out what inhabits your so-called mind and what kind of soul you have now. A child's soul, an adolescent's, a woman's, a tyrant's soul, the soul of a predator, or its prey. Interesting. So a lot of people viewed Stoicism as a religion up until I think the late 19th century, maybe even into the 20th century. Academics considered Stoicism to not be a school of thought, but rather a philosophy, because in the writings that we have, the concept of God is talked about a lot, and it takes different names. Nature is one of them with a capital N. Logos, the logos, which is always italicized. They were very pious, I want to say, but I'm afraid Socrates would come and question me about what I mean by pious. But I don't know. I'm not so much of a religious person myself. Oh goodness, what was that? But I do really like what the Stoics have to say, because it's very practical knowledge that one can apply to life and see results. Like, I'm not going to go on a Stoic lecture here. This is this is an introduction, but, however, if people vibe with this channel, if people vibe with stoicism, I could go into a little bit of stoicism, because I do know a tiny bit, and I do have the resources to give a little bit more of like an exegesis, a little bit more. I could go into a little bit more detail if, like, anybody wanted that, you know? Let's see. What other toys do I got here? I've also got a book here, Love Poems and Sonnets by William Shakespeare. So if you care to vibe with me real quick. Oh goodness. See, Shakespeare's hard to read and perhaps harder to understand. So you're going to have to bear with me, please. Oh man, I wish you could see. Oh, I'm yawning. I wish you could see the cover. I got this particular copy in an antique store, and it's got like little cherubs, what looks like a jester, perhaps like a lady, just like a lot of like old looking, like it's pink, it's got green embroidery, but we're just going to read a poem now. Sonnet LXVI. I don't know what L stands for, otherwise I would have said the number. Tired with all of... let me start over. Already difficult to read. Tired with all these, for restful death I cry, as to behold a desert, a beggar born, and needy nothing trimm'd in jollity, and purest faith unhappily forsworn, and glided honor shamefully misplaced, and maiden virtue rudely strumpeted, and right perfection wrongfully disgraced, and strength by limping sway disabled, and art made tongue tied by authority, and folly, doctor-like, controlling skill, and simple truth miscall'd simplicity, and captive good attending captain ill. Tired with all these, from these would I be gone, save that, to die, I leave my love alone. Now, if you're looking for interpretations, I'm not the guy to come to. I'm really not. But if you want to hear more, then I might be the guy to come to. I really might. So yeah, this is what you could expect from me if I do indeed continue to post thingies. I think I certainly might, because I kind of take pleasure out of this, but my only inhibition at this point is that my setup is really garbage. I mean, it is, you know, it is enough, and that is why I'm here. Because if not now, then when? There is a passage from M.A., Marcus Aurelius, that says something about, if not today, you say tomorrow. Something to the effect of, you're putting it off. And it being, for him, acting good. And not that, making an ASMR video is being good, living the good life. But you know what? It brings me joy to sit here and to create, because I consider myself an artist. I like to create. I do write poetry. I write prose. I like to draw. I would like to paint, but you know what? We all have our flaws. We all inhibit ourselves in various unconscious and subconscious ways, and perhaps even conscious ways, you know what? Perhaps. Can't speak for other people, only myself. But I've certainly gone on a tangent here. So, before I continue talking out of nowhere in particular, going to go ahead and end this perhaps lengthy introduction of mine. So, if you're here and you're listening, then, well, gee, thank you very much. If you'd like to hear more, well, gee, I'm very flattered. I hope that my voice was somewhat soothing. I hope that you found some sort of rest or amusement, or I hope you found something in my words. So that's good night, or good day, or good evening, wherever, whenever you are. Bye-bye.